If you let these wear in too much, it can kill you. And as you can see, mine are pretty worn in. These are my front brake pads. Once I start putting pressure on that lever, if I'm not feeling that bite of the front brakes anymore, then you know you should be concerned, because your front brake is your friend, and when you know how to use it, it can save your life. Here's a side-by-side of my old brake calipers and my new ones. All right, so here are the old side-by-side with the new. You can see that the thickness, there is a difference between them. So check it out, you can see it here, you can see it here. So there is a difference in thickness here. It's nothing crazy, but we'll see if it makes a big difference. So here are the old ones. You can see they are pretty beat in. They're not worn down that much, but they're beat in. But I don't know that much about front brakes, to be honest, so I don't know if that's a lot of wear or not, but that's the old and this is the new. Let's get these new ones on. So they don't necessarily look like they have to be changed out. I mean, they're worn down a little bit. I've never changed the front brake. So I'm gonna show you guys exactly what we're looking at, and I'm gonna let you know if that little tiny bit of wear that we see on these front brake pads, if that little tiny bit of wear is gonna make that much of a difference on the feel on that front brake. I already changed the right side of the caliper, now I'm changing the left caliper. We have a 5mm hex right here, and that's gonna be the little pin that's holding the brake pads in, and then of course we have our actual bolts for the caliper. So what I do is I come in here and I break the torque, and then we pull the caliper right out. Sometimes it'll stick, and now we're going to finish. See in here, this looks pretty wild, doesn't it? You can see it's got this weird thread on it. So this is the actual bolt, and it goes through the calipers. That's actually what's holding it on. So check it out, this is what it looks like. You can check it out, it looks pretty crazy looking here. Finagle this thing here. All right, we're gonna slide it right out. All right, there's one thing that we need to note. On the back side, we have these metal things, all right? So these guys are going to be pressing against our new brake pads. So when we put these brake pads in, there are these little metal flanges that we need to press in, and when we press them in, this pin is going to go over top of it. That's what's going to keep the pressure down on these new brake pads. So right here we see these metal pieces. I'm looking down the holes here so we can line it up, as you can see here. So I'm pressing in. You see how they're banging around. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to press in here with the top of the metal, line up the hole, and when I'm compressing that, it creates a perfect little diameter for these metal pieces to get out of the way so that we can accurately put this pin in and hold it all together. All right, you can see I got these both seated in here well. You can see that both pins are going in just as they should. And now we're going to screw these in and get them going in all the way. Super smooth. And we're taking the threads all the way in. It's going to come to a hard stop. Boom, hard stop, hard stop. And then we're going to have to push these apart. We're going to compress these calipers because again, these are brakes. These are hydraulic. So what we're going to do is we're going to open this up with a little metal piece like this. Make sure you're not scratching it up too much, but we need to open these up so we can actually fit this on the rotor. Slide them on the rotor, just like that. And they fit right in. So what we're going to do is we're going to tighten everything up. We're going to tighten these, make sure that these are fastened. And the very next thing we're going to do is we're going to pump up those front brakes. We're not going to go ride our bike around on the road and be like, oh, my new brakes. You're going to ride around your neighborhood or even your driveway. You're going to test those brakes. You're not just going to automatically trust that you did it right. So we're going to tighten all this stuff up. We're going to check the other side, and then we're going to move it around. Like, I'm just feeling it out. I already bled the brakes. I think maybe it's just a ZX6 thing. They just don't feel that sensitive, but I'm really not gonna know until I get on the track and I'm flying into a turn with some hard braking. But it feels a little bit better, I guess, but nothing crazy. Maybe it's just the nature of the ZX6R. So